Arsenal, be careful, because this is the moment in the season where things begin to change quietly. Not always on the league table, and not always in the results, but in the feeling around the team and the way matches are experienced by both players and supporters. This is no longer about one opponent or one fixture. This is about timing, pressure, and the stage of the season where good teams are separated from title-winning teams by behaviour rather than ability. We have seen this moment before as Arsenal fans. The football still looks strong, the structure still feels solid, and the league position still offers hope. But games no longer feel free or relaxed. They feel heavy. Every decision carries more weight, every mistake feels louder, and every dropped point feels bigger than it should. That shift happens when expectation quietly replaces enjoyment, and when belief begins to share space with fear. This is the stage of the season where Arsenal supporters stop watching football freely and start calculating outcomes. You check the clock earlier. You think about the next fixture before the current one has finished. Not because the team looks bad, but because you recognize the pattern. Arsenal seasons rarely collapse in dramatic fashion. They tend to erode gradually, through small moments that slowly change momentum. That is why this is the moment that matters. Pressure does not arrive suddenly. It creeps in and alters behavior. When everything is comfortable, Arsenal play with confidence, patience, and authority. They dominate possession, control tempo, and suffocate opponents. But when pressure increases, decisions speed up when they should slow down. Passes are rushed, chances are forced, and control gives way to urgency. And urgency is dangerous in a title race. This is not about physical fatigue, it is about mental weight. At this stage of the season, responsibility becomes heavier, and it rarely spreads evenly across the squad. It concentrates on the same players week after week. Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice. Leaders who care deeply and carry responsibility. But when the same shoulders carry everything, pressure accumulates, and accumulated pressure has ended many promising seasons. Arsenal do not need to prove their talent now. That question has already been answered. What matters is control. Control of games, control of tempo, and control of emotion. This is not the phase of the season for perfect football or statement wins. It is the phase for professional football. 1-0 wins, 2-0 wins, matches without chaos, and second halves that feel quiet because the job has already been done. Championship teams understand this instinctively. They know when to slow the game, when to keep the ball, and when to remove momentum rather than chase spectacle. They accept ugly wins without apology. They rotate intelligently before fatigue becomes visible. They manage pressure instead of pretending it does not exist. This is where Arsenal must be careful, because moments like this define seasons long before trophies are won or lost. Not through dramatic results, but through decisions made under stress. Decisions about rotation, about tempo, and about when to prioritize control over expression. The encouraging reality for Arsenal fans is that nothing required at this stage is beyond this team. There is no need for a tactical overhaul or dramatic change. What is required is maturity, calm, and trust. Trust in the process without forcing outcomes. Trust that titles are not won by playing perfect football every week, but by handling pressure better than everyone else. So, as this weekend approaches and kickoff draws closer, this is the moment Arsenal must recognise for what it truly is. Not a test of ability, but a test of growth. Not a judgment on quality, but on readiness. Because if Arsenal handle this phase correctly, the mistakes of the past lose their grip. And this time, the story really can end differently.